guys, it's Jackie from Jack Gets Lost in a Book Hole, and I thought I would continue my series of where I read quotes from my quote book. This is my quote book, by the way. Like I said, there's, in my first video of this, there's a lot of writing on it. Originally it was blank. So I'm going to continue it. Let's see if I can find the page where I was last at. Okay, I guess this is where I was at. Okay, yeah, here is this is a quote from, this is a quote from, What I Like About You, the show about the two sisters, living together and everything, going through life and stuff. This is what her ex-boyfriend, she's trying to figure out why she can't seem to keep relationships, why all of her relationships fall apart. And so she goes to ask advice from her old boyfriend Henry, her ex. Holly, don't you see? When you start not being perfect, you start looking for the other guys. With me, it was Vince. With Ben, it was Vince. Do you see a pattern? Okay, this next one is a Lord of the Rings quote from the Two Towers. And obviously, I did not write this quote because this is really nice handwriting. I can't read this because, submitted by, I don't know, I feel bad that I can't read that. I should be able to, but, this is what, from 2 Hours, I can't say his name. The king of, not Gondor, I can't remember what it's called. Rohan. The king of Rohan. Theoden. That's what it is. Theoden. It's from the Two Towers. This is kind of when they're getting ready to fight the orcs. And he's kind of trying to prep himself up and prepare himself for battle. Where's the horse and the rider? Where is the horn that was blowing? They have passed like rain on the mountain, like wind in the meadows. The days have gone down in the west, behind the hills, into shadow. How did it come to this? I guess, character Mary, me it's Gomez, or I don't know. One of my old friends from high school probably, or middle school. This is a Boy Meets World quote. This next one, this is an episode when this is from the middle school years, so he's trying to, date, he's beginning to date and stuff, and be interested in girls, and he goes to Eric for advice, and I'm sure if you watch the show, you can guess how that turns out. There once was a boy named Corey, who now has an interesting story. He learned about kissing when all he was missing, when he and Topanga made out. And that's a quote that Corey, Eric, and Sean say. I don't know why I wrote Corey twice. I must not have been paying attention. And this is another Boy Meets World episode. There are quite a few on here, as you've probably guessed from Boy Meets World. And this is from the episode, that one was Fear Strikes Out. That episode was Fear Strikes Out. And then the next one is, and then there was Sean. This is one during one of their, because I think Corey and Topanga got broken up twice or 3 times, I can't remember. And they are basically stuck in detention, and then they kind of have a Halloween-esque episode where there's, or actually I should say Scream-esque episode where they're locked in the school and there's a killer on the loose with a masked killer trying to kill them. And Sean assumes, I think it's Sean who assumes that it's Mr. Feeney trying to play a prank on them to make his point. So Topanga says, "What's he trying to teach us? Pay attention or we die." And this is another scene from the episode. They're asking for Sean for advice because he watches these kind of movies all the time. Which is what this episode is based on. It's based on like a horror slasher film. Okay, so, well, is any of us safe? Yeah, virgins. Virgins are safe. Virgins never die. Alright, thanks for saving me. You say that to Topanga. And then Eric, I'm dead. I'll get as sick as you can get without actually dying. Oh, okay, where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, by the way, I actually do have Once Upon a Time quotes in here. Okay. I don't know where it is. I don't know if I continued or not. Okay. So, here is some... This is a quote from Dr. Seuss. "Fantasy is a necessary ingredient in living. It's a way of looking at life through the wrong end of a telescope." Okay. Now I'm on to the Once Upon a Time ones, because remember, I've said that I love season 1. So, this is from the episode Desperate Souls. This is when, like, in that episode, our main character, Emma, is running for office of the little town of Storybrooke. And, Mary Margaret, who is Snow White in the fairy tale world, she is talking to Emma and asking her why she's doing this in the first place. And she basically admits that she's doing this for Henry and herself. And this is her response to Mary Margaret about it. "If I'm not the hero or the savior, what part do I have in his life?" The next one is from the pilot. And this is, I kind of like this little message, this little hopeful, sentimental little message. This is what Jiminy Cricket says, because they're discussing what to do, how to handle the evil queen who has threatened Snow and Charming at their wedding, as one does. This is where their little council of fairy tale characters are discussing how to handle the situation. "Giving in to one's dark side never accomplishes anything." And of course, Jiminy Cricket says that. Okay, and this is what Regina... Okay, so this next one is from the episode Snow Falls. Mary Margaret has been framed thanks to Regina, who's the evil queen. And, Charming, aka David, is trying to get to the bottom of everything, and he is talking to Regina about the situation. And she's basically telling him that she is pointing out that she kind of actually understands the idea of love and loss. Because not having someone is the worst curse imaginable. And I'm sure, Okay, so this is from the episode Dreamy. Dreamy is really grumpy. He was dreamy at first. His storyline is that he was dreamy at first, then he fell in love with the fairy, but because dwarves are not supposed to fall in love, and that fairies, that the fairy that he falls in love with, if the two of them run away together, then that she will never become the fairy godmother she's destined to be. So this is before everything falls apart. They end up being torn apart. Which I am still mad at the writers for ignoring that couple. I know that they're a secondary couple, that they're a minor couple in the story, but I wanted to know what happened to this couple. I wanted to know if there was hope for them, if they were gonna ever get back together, if they were gonna ever try to make it work. I know she's a nun in Storybrooke, and but I mean, come on, I just wanted to see I don't care about your precious, Hook and Emma couple. And I'm sorry, I just feel really, as I said in the previous video, the top 5 Wednesday video where I kind of brought it up, I feel very strongly about this. And like I said, because I rewatched season 1, it's just been reignited in me, the fury at the writers for that show. Okay, let me just get back because I don't want this video to be too long. You can do anything as long as you can dream it. Okay, the next one is Hat Trick, where we are introduced, obviously, we're going by the episode title. We meet the Mad Hatter, the one who becomes the Mad Hatter. We learn his backstory, how he became the Mad Hatter, and then in our world, he's this rich guy, and he kidnaps Emma, because he's trying to make his magic hat work, so he can, he can escape with his daughter and everything. And of course, Emma at that point does not believe in all this. She doesn't believe it's real. She just thinks Henry, I don't know why I call him Harry. Henry's just an imaginative little kid, and that Jefferson, who's the Mad Hatter, is just some crazy guy that's giving into Henry's delusions. And this is when he's trying to persuade Emma to believe. It's hard enough living in a land where you don't belong, but holding conflicting realities in your head, is enough to drive you mad. This next one is from The Heart of the Lonely Hunter. It's the story of the huntsman. And he is, in our world, he is the sheriff before Emma becomes the sheriff. And he is kind of sleeping with Regina. But, Regina, as the evil queen, has his heart. But this is the part when he's being sent after Snow White. I hunt you, and yet you stop to compose a letter? I will never understand your kind. Okay, this next one is from The Fruit of the Poisonous Tree, when Snow's father comes across a magic genie, and he sets him free, and the genie comes to his palace, and he falls in love with Regina. But this is when Snow's father first rubs the lamp, and this is kind of like the genie's, his little, there's a word for it, his little, pitch. You have awakened the genie of Agrabah. You are entitled 3 wishes, no more, no less. But you must know magic has its limits. You cannot wish for life, death, or love. You cannot wish for more wishes. Once spoken, a wish cannot be undone. It's no matter the consequences. It's funny, he says it in such a deadpan way because you can tell he hates his job. He hates being a genie. Okay, then this next one is from What Happened to Frederick. This is where we learn the backstory of the woman that David was supposed to marry, and how she only agreed to marry David because the prince, because he might be able to defeat the monster that guards these magical waters, that might be able to hear her boyfriend Frederick, who was actually turned to gold by her father, King Midas. And this is when she's trying to persuade him to help her. We all have our tragedies. Lost love having been being the worst. Which I do not get. She should have been Catherine, but they called her Abigail. Okay. This is another one from that episode. This is what the siren, because the monster that's guarding the magic waters is, of course, a siren. This is when she disguises herself reveals herself as pretends to be Snow White to trick the prince. Oh, sometimes illusions are better than truth. Um, and this is his response. This isn't real love. I felt it. I know the difference. And then this is in our world. This is what Catherine says when she realizes she can't hold a grudge against them anymore, and is willing to let it go. And she's talking to Regina like because she believes her and Regina are friends, which I think legitimately they were, but unfortunately Regina's desire for revenge against Snow kind of like took over a little bit. But anyway, the way David looks at Mary Margaret, I want that for me, and I'm going to go out there and find it. This is what I don't think this was in that episode. I think this was in the finale, one of the finale episodes, or maybe later. I don't know. But it says, "True love." This is a quote by Prince Charming. "True love isn't easy, but it must be fought for because once you find it, it can never be replaced." This is maybe it is from the episode. And this is what Abigail in the Fairy Tale Land says to Prince David, Charming, after he defeats the monster and helps rescue Frederick, her boyfriend, her true love. "Some people will stop at nothing to destroy the happiness of others." This is another one from Hat Trick. This is our Jefferson quote. "What's crazier than seeing and not believing?" So at this point, Okay, this one is a long one. I wrote this whole scene because I love this scene. This is the scene in The Land Without Magic, Charming and Rumple scene. I think it's the first episode before the finale for the last one of the season. Or like part 1. This is when they meet in the woods, and when he finally gets, he has to go and rescue Snow White, who's in the coffin. She's eating the poisonous apple and everything, and then he runs into Rumple in the Infinite Forest. And they fight, and then Rumple is offering to help him. Rumple's offering to help him with it too, and he kind of reveals that he does have a better understanding about true love than as much as the next, just like Charming and everybody else. "What do you know about true love? Not so much as you, perhaps, but not so little as you might think." Sorry, I'm not gonna do the voice. I can't do the voice. You love someone. It was a brief flicker of light in an ocean of darkness. What happened? She died. That's the thing about true love. It can slip through your fingers. It's the most powerful magic in the world. The only magic powerful enough to break any curse. It must be protected. I don't understand. What is it you want me to do? I want you to help me protect it by putting it in a safe place. A safe place for me. Where's that? Inside the belly of the beast. Of course. Why hide it? Let's just say I'm saving it for a rainy day. So that's the best you're gonna get. I'm not gonna do the voice. I can't do the voice that Robert Carlyle does. I can't. I tried. Okay, this is from the episode The Shepherd. This is when we learn Charming's backstory. It turns out it's kind of funny because if you watch Gotham, that whole twin cliche does come up. If you watch the show, you know what I mean. But this one also does the twin cliche storyline. They meet. We are in Charming. The current Charming in the present was originally a shepherd. It was him and his mom. and he has to because his brother died, the real Prince James, he has been offered to take his place. And the king is like threatening him and is like, if you don't cooperate and marry Princess Abigail, blah blah blah, then I'm gonna kill your family and destroy your land. So he goes back home to tell his mother, and his mother gives him her ring to give to his true love. True love follows rings everywhere it goes. And this is the end of the episode. This is what King George says when him and Abigail are going on their little trek through the forest. Smile, son. You're on the road to true love. This is another one from Desperate Souls. Miss Swan, two people with a common goal can accomplish many things. Two people with a common enemy can accomplish more. Regina, should I move some things around to make room for your rage? Make a bit of space for your rage? This is the episode Red Handed, where we find out Little Red Riding Hood's backstory. Oh, so you thought you'd level the house with the power of your breath? Oh, so you thought you leveled the house with the power of your breath? You dress in drag queen during the Fleet Week? Okay, I don't know what that. I don't remember. I know it's in the episode, but I don't remember who says it. Oh, this is what Granny says. Oh, this is, I guess, because in our world, Red Riding Hood, Ruby is a bit of a, a rebel type, a little punk rock, and her Granny is giving her a hard time. And they're arguing. You dress like a drag queen during Fleet Week. You dress like Norman Bates when he dressed up like Norman Bates' mother. I love that. I love that one. Okay, so the next one is, well, it's getting long, so let me finish this page. Ooh, wow. I never realized how many quotes I have here. This is from let me just finish these Once Upon a Time quotes. This is from the episode Heart of Darkness. The problem is I'm living in a house with dwarves instead of in my palace as a princess, but I can't do that anymore because he was murdered. But the same woman who sent huntsmen to kill me. That's what Snow White says. She took a magic potion to make her forget about Charming, so it kind of corrupted her heart a little bit, and now she feels no love. And this is what Regina says, because she had Mary Margaret convicted of killing Catherine, David's wife, but we know, of course, that she didn't do it, but unfortunately, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. But of course, as the audience, we know that's not the case. She's a woman who's had her heart broken, and that can make you do some unspeakable things. People only see what's right in front of them. This is the character of August, who is also Pinocchio. And he believes everything, so he's trying to talk to Henry into not giving up. And to, so he can prove that Mary Margaret didn't kill Catherine. I'm a writer, so I'm partial to finding my answers in literary form. There are some people, this is also an August line, there are some people like you and me who can go in faith, but others like Emma need proof. This is what Regina says to David because he goes to her about the whole situation. Perhaps, but I always believed evil isn't born, it's made. Evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it's staring right in front of us, and we don't even know it. Which, that last one is actually kind of, I thought that moment was always very interesting, because, basically she's pointing out, I'm evil and you don't even know it. You don't even realize I'm standing right in front of you. Okay, so I don't know how many more quotes I have in here. I forgot. But anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So if you guys like my series of quote videos, then please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please click subscribe. I would really appreciate it. For those of you who are already subscribed to me, and thank you for watching. Love you guys. Bye.